Hey everybody, Jason Burmis here, and by now, just about everybody that's woken up in the country knows that Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Let me repeat this. Jeffrey Epstein is dead. Jeffrey Epstein is dead less than 24 hours after documents are unsealed in the case of defamation of Virginia Guffrey Roberts and his alleged, but if you read these documents, I mean, when you say alleged, madam, and serial child molester, Ghislaine Maxwell, who walks free to this day. And I'm going to explain why she is now the absolute key to dismantling the cabal that we talked about with Whitney Webb. So before we get into how important this is, and listen, I've got it set up right now that we can do live chat, but there is a lot of people in here already. So I'm going to try to take every single super chat I can, and if there's any kind of real breaking news or questions or comments Epstein-wise in here, then we're going to go over them. But I'm not sure how long this broadcast is going to be. I've already done a broadcast with Press for Truth, Dan Dix. So it's extremely important that we continue to get this information out there. 100%. It's so important. Listen, what do we know so far? We don't know much. Let me repeat that. We don't know much. There are reports that he hung himself. There are other reports that he somehow had a heart attack. Okay? There are reports he was found in a fetal position. What we do know is that 2 weeks ago, a very similar scenario happened, and he was supposed to be put on suicide watch. And I said then, there should be cameras all over his cell. Everywhere. I mean, 100% everywhere. He should be under 24-hour guard. He should be in solitary confinement. And I went as far as to say, hey, you know what else? He should be wearing a body camera at all times that is wired up to surveillance. Why this was not done in the most high profile, in my opinion, most important case of our generation is beyond me, but I know it's not going to be beyond some people. We're going to look at all angles here. We're going to go to, oops, this is not what I needed. I got to delete that, sorry. We're going to go to Epstein and, listen, they're speculating everywhere. Like this Fox and Friends thing, they're like, did he really commit suicide? Is that even possible? Let's go to our first super chat of the day. Philip Kolk Jr., thank you for the $20, brother. I really appreciate it. We are at the forefront of this. And by the way, I know that a lot of the documentation stuff is out there, and we're going to be going over a lot of this stuff that maybe the mainstream is not focusing on. We focused on a lot of it yesterday. Bill Richardson, and the fact that he was the New Mexico governor and his being named in this cannot be understated. Let me repeat that. Cannot be understated. And in less than 24 hours with his name out there and still that other prince not being named, okay, and the prime minister not being named, there was going to be a lot of pressure. And the chances are that eventually those names were absolutely going to come out, and hopefully still will, since this is the case against Guffrey Roberts. You know, I didn't see a lot of people reporting on this either. The fact that you have a prepubescent girl as some of the evidence right here, okay, and they redacted it, but you can, again, clearly see that some of the things that were put out here were absolutely disgusting. So, let's go to I believe ABC. A lot of people thought it was the Post, but ABC was the very first one to get this information out there. Let's go to this super chat right here. It was a body double. Oh, sorry. Let's go there. It was a body double like John Travolta from Swordfish. You know, I talked about that Swordfish analogy probably a few weeks ago before the first suicide attempt. And I said that, you know, anything's possible with a billionaire, but I certainly hope it isn't like that. He's probably in a remote area drinking Manischewitz and watching Disney shows. I really hope you're wrong. I really, really hope you're wrong. I think it's important we read the ABC news article because they're saying hanging. Now, I've seen other sources that heart attack. And you got to understand the other thing is, while he was on trial, he was still going to court. In fact, when they saw him in court following that first assault that was assault. I don't know whether it was assault, suicide attempt, whatever. They said there was no visible marks on him. Yet there were reports that he was pretty beaten up. We need some truth and leaks from the NYPD to corroborate any of this stuff. Jeffrey Epstein, the disgraced millionaire. I love how everybody's running with millionaire instead of billionaire because he told the judge that he was worth a little less than $500 million. Even the judge didn't believe that. Who was facing federal sex trafficking charges, died by suicide early Saturday in his lower Manhattan prison cell, law enforcement said, and the Bureau of Prisons confirmed to ABC News. Epstein hanged himself, the sources say. He was found unresponsive in his cell at the Metropolitan Correctional Center around 6:30 a.m. He transported in cardiac arrest to New York downtown hospital at 6:39, according to the sources. All right, so before 7 a.m., this guy is announced dead. And remember, yesterday, I think it was about 9:30, 10 a.m., the documents, even though not fully unsealed, did actually get unsealed. And remember, guys, we were showing you what was in these documents. Okay, a lot of other people, they were late to the game, and I want to reiterate that this story here, other people, Ronaldo Rizzo, Tony Figueroa, and several others, lower level minions that worked either for Epstein or his associates, tell some pretty gruesome stories. And this story, is really worth reiterating, that a 15-year-old Swedish girl who was very, very distraught, he says, beautiful young girl. What did she say? She's, when they talked about shaking, quite literally quivering. So this girl, she's 15 years old. She doesn't know what's going on. And these are the type of monsters that are still walking around, okay? Ghislaine Maxwell, supposedly, after she refused to have sex with her and Epstein, took this girl's passport so she couldn't escape. And she was on the island at the time, but she doesn't know how she got off the island. She just woke up off the island. So nobody knows what happened to her. She can't go anywhere. She's shaking. She's scared to fucking death. And Ghislaine Maxwell, who's named by over 30 of these girls, read these documents in these depositions, is still walking around a free woman. She's now the key, 100%. And we've never downplayed her role, by the way. We've talked about her father at length and that network. And before we go further into this, just disturbingly disgusting and abhorrent. Abhorrent. Look at this. And during this time, you're saying she's rambling. Her demeanor continues. What you described it. Yes. Was she in fear? Yes. You could tell. Yes. She was shaking uncontrollably. Okay? You see that? Unbelievable. Unbelievable. So Lynn Miller's another person that shows how Ghislaine Maxwell and Nadia Marcinkova and Mark Epstein, his brother, okay, were also all over this. So how is Mark not in jail? He had to know what his brother was up to. How are these people protected? This can't end. I told you already that this was a trial that wasn't going to be taking place until next year. Discovery was going to be huge. The intelligence connections. And that's why we need to go over here. Connections to the Catholic Church, guys. Connections to Prohibition, intelligence, J. Edgar Hoover. That's what this network, this cabal, is really about. And yesterday I did an extensive interview with Whitney Webb. It's only got 6,500 views. This is a must-watch, must-share. Please get this out there, where we break down for 38 minutes how this network spans a time period of pre-World War II into the 80s, the Reagan administration, and beyond through Roy Cohn, and how even today many of these players are working together through these large conglomerates and corporations and intelligence networks, the mega group being one of them. Robert Maxwell and his Mossad ties being one of them. Okay, guys? This is it. This is the network. And yesterday, they brought in Bill Richardson. And we're going to talk a little bit about Bill Richardson right now and why he is so important. This is Bill Richardson. Okay? Oh, there's Bill and Bill. Hey, Bill and Bill. Hey, how you doing? I got a little bolo tie. I'm the New Mexico governor. Well, he's the former New Mexico governor. Another globalist. Another guy they tried to push in 2008 as a presidential candidate, an establishment man, a company man. And he's the governor of New York. All right? Or not you, governor of New York. God, governor of New Mexico. Governor of New Mexico, where Epstein has estates. All right? Now, everybody thought that Epstein pled guilty, by the way. Oh, this has got to be photoshopped, right? Yeah, that's a photoshopping, guys. That's not real. I hate it when I see this Photoshop nonsense. That's closer to what Bill Richardson looks like these days. So, New Mexico governor, where Epstein has his Zorro Ranch. So now we know he's been implicated as one of the people that's probably a pedophile and not just having sex with Virginia Guffrey Roberts when she's underage, but other people. But she's the one accusing. And Epstein, it turns out, when they did this, remember when the DOJ started looking into the Crimes Victims' Rights Act and whether or not they could reopen the case? Well, when they did that, they realized that they didn't charge Epstein. Remember, it was sex with an underage, a child prostitute or something like that. There are no child prostitutes. There are no underage prostitutes. He's a child molester. Okay? But they had it at a 16-year-old girl. And that's extremely important because if you go to consent laws, legal age of consent, state by state, okay? Let's go 2018. We don't even have to do 2018, okay? But many of these states, including New Mexico, why do we want to go there? Come on, in the United States. Let's see. So 16 is blue, all right? It's 16 in New Mexico, I believe. It was, at least at the time, okay? So it was 16 in New Mexico at the time. And he wasn't even had to be register as a sex offender in like 30 states. It's changed since then. I mean, like I said, this is 2018, but these crimes happened a long way ahead. So, this is where he wanted his little eugenics project, by the way. Remember, he was going to inseminate women with his DNA. He was into cryogenics. God knows what was happening at that New Mexico ranch. But the first high-level politician, a guy, by the way, big ups to Luke Rudowski, who I used to work for over at We Are Change, confronted him, and he sweats like a pig over being questioned about Bohemian Grove. If you've never seen that, it's right over here. We're going to have to refresh it. No, there we go. But if you check that out, here it is. Bill Richardson sweats bullets over Bohemian Grove, and he really does. You can go check that over there. But he gets asked about it. He doesn't want to talk about it. He's literally got to get patted down. Establishment politician being called out on his globalist ties. So now that we know he's an alleged pedophile in this Epstein case, all the more reason to keep up. And guys, again, there's no reason this should end. This civil case is still going on. We talked about this 15-year-old girl. It goes beyond that. They're making it a big deal that Prince Andrew was groping this young girl. Listen, we've known that he allegedly had sex with this girl for how long? Let's talk about the new names. And people have been trying to distance themselves from Epstein. For instance, Les Wexner, who has his fingers all over this stuff, right? All over it. Take a look. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. He writes this little letter. I barely knew Epstein. I don't know what all this is about. It's so bizarre to me. No, it's not. It's not bizarre at all. You know exactly what's going on, and it just, these people can't walk. We can't allow this thing to walk. This is the intelligence network. Please, I'm begging you guys to go and check out my interview with Whitney Webb. It's a must watch. It's a must watch. Like it needs to be watched now and today. So I don't know. I'm hoping that we can go beyond this and keep going forward. Wash Post says Epstein attempted kill Rentley. What? I don't know what that means. Kill recently? I'm sorry, Port Film Co-op. I'm not sure what you actually just wrote there. So we're going to keep going on. We're going to get to your questions in just a moment. Just having a little technical difficulty here. We're trying to fix it up. And hopefully we just did that. There we go. Okay, excellent. So let's do that and that. And now let's go to the questions. Here we go, guys. Let's see. I'm going to go from the bottom up, I guess. Now, would you believe this is a hoax? Again, anything's possible. What's probable? In order to get him out of there, there's got to be cameras. So again, how could he even be quote unquote murdered or suicided in prison? Was he poisoned? If it's a heart attack, maybe he was given a suicide pill. I don't know. I don't know any of this stuff. I'm trying to remain as neutral as possible on this. Trying to give you everything that I can. I don't care anything. Wow, right again. Like, come on, Sir Cliff. Are you out of your mind? Are you out of your mind? Everybody was predicting this. Possible Mossad switch out. Where's the switch out? What, they got a dead body that looked just like him? Again, anything. Listen, he had resources. Again, but no one trusts any plans here, guys. We have discernment. Rogan's up. I don't know what that means. Is Rogan doing a show? Jason Burmis. Hey, man. I just got off Periscope with Lee Stranahan and asked him if he'd be willing to have a chat with you about Epstein. Said to send him the contact info. Think it would be great. I'll reach out to Lee. I talked to him a little bit behind the scenes, actually, on Twitter. So he follows me on Twitter, and I follow his work, and I think he's got some interesting things to say. I'll reach out to him and say something. So, again, he kind of probably already knows who I am a little bit, but I'm not trying to get into any baby mama drama, but I'm also not about lying. I want the truth out there. And so, I'm interested to see where that whole situation goes. In fact, I know that Gabe Hoffman is looking to debate Lee Stranahan on a neutral platform. I feel like I could be that neutral platform. I think both of them have done good work, and I'd love to hear both of their arguments. So anybody who wants to try to set that up, I've talked to both of them behind the scenes on Twitter. I'd be interested in doing that. The cameras were malfunctioning. Let's hope not. Jason, will the case move forward or go away? I don't know. This should be a racketeering and conspiracy case, right? There's no way that this should keep going on. Yeah, it looks like one big club to me. I don't care. Listen, guys, please keep your Q nonsense to yourself. We deal in real things here. It's not like we didn't expect this to happen. Had to do it before he opened his mouth. I don't know. FBI would be swarming that prison. Yeah, FBI has taken over the investigation, by the way. FBI has taken over the investigation. So you take that as you will. I don't necessarily trust the FBI either. So again, I'm at a loss for words just like you guys today. I did not expect to wake up to my phone blowing up with text messages and tweets about this. But less than 24 hours after just a small number of documents in a lawsuit against his main madam, who seems to have all the type of intelligence connections he did, his main procurer, his main trafficker, and he's dead. Let's see. How do they not have enough eyes on this guy? Again, he should have been wearing a 24/7 body camera. Many of them, right? We already live in a surveillance state. The idea that anybody could have gotten to this guy or he could have done harm to himself is absolutely ridiculous. I don't know what all these comments. FBI is part of trafficking, so it's a damn joke. FBI and Nazis. Not all of the FBI. A lot of the FBI is really good, but when you get to the upper echelons, or you get to some of these corrupt, abusive networks, yes, intelligence uses the Federal Bureau of Investigations, the Pentagon, the NSA, the CIA. Please read The Franklin Scandal by Nick Bryant, the follow-up to the Franklin cover-up. Anybody right now can Google the Franklin cover-up and get it and see what this base information is all about. It's very important stuff. Let's see. I feel like we were robbed too. I'm more angry than anything else. Let's see. I don't care about that. They don't do 24/7 surveillance. They should have been doing 24/7 surveillance on him. And yes, no, the prison definitely has security cameras that are on all the time in New York, at 100%. At the MCC prison, you better believe they do. But again, there's a huge amount of corruption there. I was talking about the levels of corruption with Dan Dix on Press for Truth. Listen, before Epstein gets there, his cellmate, who's the ex-cop who's being charged with a triple murder, had already been assaulted in that area with a lock and a sock, all right? And then weeks before he got there, he somehow smuggled in a miniature cell phone. He was making, whatever that is, a mini cell phone, was making calls and text messages with. So obviously for those things to happen with the same guy that's the cellmate of Epstein, and Epstein shouldn't have had a cellmate. They put Epstein in general population in the beginning and moved him, which is ridiculous. But if that can happen before Epstein gets there, imagine what can happen with Epstein, his influence, his money, his enemies, their influence, their money, their insiders. Listen, if you don't think that intelligence networks work heavily, especially on the coasts in the major cities, LA, Hollywood, New York City, you're being extremely ignorant and naive. Those are like their epicenters openly since the 50s. You look at MK Ultra. No one wants to talk about this aspect of the CIA's MK Ultra plan, but they set up houses of prostitution in Greenwich Village, outside of California, outside of San Francisco in California. These are facts. And they were blackmailing apps, and many times they were using underage prostitutes. But everybody wants to talk about that being about LSD. So much more. These trafficking operations are not new. We got a super chat. Ladarum, I work in jails. This doesn't happen ever without help. Keep exposing them, Jason. Thank you. You're damn right this doesn't happen in the most high-profile case of our generation that could have helped take down the actual cabal, the deep state that Peter Dale Scott coined. Remember, deep state isn't a new word, all right? In fact, maybe we should find this this clip. But if you go, and again, please subscribe, guys. Join the Burmist Brigade. Thumbs this video up. Share it out there. Get it out there to people. We're almost 30,000 strong. When we're 30,000 strong, we can do even more. But if you go to my videos, or you can go to my playlists and documentaries, but Invisible Empire, just so people understand where the term deep state actually comes from. I had a man, along with G. Edward Griffin and others, who was highlighted and featured in a documentary I did called Invisible Empire, A New World Order Defined. Here it is right here. All right? It's one of my first uploads over at the channel. It actually has about 5 million plus views on some other things, so please go check it out. But he describes deep events, deep politics, the true deep state, and how this network has been around for a very long time. And in this, we deeply go over that network in the 80s, in the 90s, and into 9/11, 100%. In fact, if you watch my film Fabled Enemies, you get a good stark look at that same network at work pre and post 9/11. Fabled Enemies, a must-watch. Invisible Empire, a must-watch. I'm very proud of these films, okay? And just yesterday, we went over these 3 huge articles. Do yourself a favor. Go beyond the retweet. Go beyond Jason Burmis and read this stuff and get into the sourcing. I didn't agree with everything that Whitney had to say. I challenged her on a couple things. In fact, there was so much that wasn't even written in these articles that we had to talk about that it was important for me to go over that in a 40-minute interview. So again, Invisible Empire, if you want to understand that this is a real and large network that's been around of globalists from all over the place. If you want to see how they work in 9/11, it's Fabled Enemies. And if you want to understand the beginnings and the current Epstein network and who he surrounded himself with, you need to watch the Epstein Mega Connections with Whitney Webb. All right, let's go back to some of your questions. Remember, we're taking all super chats and we're trying to roll through this thing as quick as possible. There's a lot to go over. Wow. Lots of people in here. Let's see what we got. We got another super chat here. Could he be alive in Israel? Anybody, I guess, could be alive anywhere. I don't know. I know that there's this, obsession that he must be just connected to Israeli Mossad, but that's certainly just not the case. There's a lot more than just this idea that Israel is involved. Yes, please. Again, I went over this with Dan Dix for Iran-Contra. So let's simplify it for you. It's an international cabal. Now, they stab each other in the back all the time. But that's why it's suspicious that in the 80s he has this passport and supposedly he's working in intelligence and he has connections to Adnan Khashoggi. Adnan Khashoggi is the billionaire who made the arms deals with Mark Rich, who is the Mossad operative in Israel. Now, he didn't get the guns from Mark Rich. He got the guns for Mark Rich. What does that mean? That means he went to Poland and Czechoslovakia to actually get the weapons produced, sells them to Rich. Rich then ships them down from Israel into the Contras. Now remember, this has to do with taking over South America, destabilizing the region, and having globalist interests in that area. So then the drugs are shipped not to Israel or Adnan Khashoggi, they're shipped into the United States through the Central Intelligence Agency. They're then sold throughout the country, and all the money is laundered through BCCI banking, the same network that is funding the Bin Laden network and the Mujahideen and the Muslim Brotherhood. Do you see how that works? Do you understand why this is so important? So listen, he could be alive in Austria. I mean, that's where the passport was given. Supposedly, that's it. So let's keep going. Ted Gunderson. You know, I found 10 minutes of an interview I did with Gunderson. I need to find the other hour, and it's killing me. I can't find this tape. I was doing old things and grabbing old tapes. I'm going to find it. I hope I'm going to find it. I'll be so upset if I don't. We have no control. I disagree, Radioactive Banana. We have a lot of control, and we have to keep pushing forward. Nothing's easy. Nothing in this world's given to you. You think it's easy for me to sit here and go over this? You think this doesn't bother me? Do you think I like reading the type of monstrous activity in these documents? I don't. It's frightening. It's upsetting. I'm doing it as a defense mechanism. I don't see anybody else taking this as seriously as they need to be. Not on a large scale level. There are people out there, there are players out there that really are concerned, and it's above their ego or fame or placating to an audience. I'm never going to do any of that bullshit. All right? I'm the real deal. I'm upset. Breaking, multiple officials are telling NBC News that Epstein was removed from suicide watch just prior to his apparent suicide this morning. Well, let's look that up right now. Let's go look that up. And that's a big thank you, Scott. I really appreciate the super chat, and I appreciate the help here. Epstein taken off suicide watch. Yep. Here we go. Looks that way. Looks like USA Today, the New York Times, NBC News. It looks like they might be reporting that he had been taken off. Let's see. Abundance of caution. I don't know. It doesn't say. It doesn't say there. Let's see what the New York Times has to say. Like all federal prisons. Oh, come on. You see? You kill me. Let me see if I can open it up in a incognito tab. And we can get this thing. Like all federal prisons, the Metropolitan, Correctional Center. I don't know, guys. I appreciate that hit. Guys, I'm doing this all on my own. So if you want to support me through GoFundMe. Again, I don't have a Subscribe Star. I don't have a Patreon. I don't have bonus material for you. I take this extremely seriously. I put out 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 videos a day sometimes, in-depth interviews, big-time breakdowns, document data dumps. We talk about things nobody else does. So if you like this stuff, you like real journalism, this is how you can financially support me. Otherwise, please, just subscribe. Join the Burmese Brigade. Share my stuff on social media. You know the algorithm doesn't love me. I'm not going to sit here and cry censorship. I'm certainly not a conservative. I'm certainly not a liberal. I'm certainly not some kind of violent radical preaching hate speech. I got nothing but love in my heart. That's why I'm doing this. So please subscribe. All right, let's go back to the questions real quick. And just to break it down one more time, guys. Epstein, found dead in his cell, unresponsive in his cell, 6:30 a.m. Eastern time. Taken into the ambulance towards the hospital by 6:39. Pronounced dead, I believe, before 7 a.m., less than 24 hours after the unsealing of those documents involving Ghislaine Maxwell, his main madam, and Virginia Guffrey Roberts, that began to name more and more names. I believe Glenn Dublin was on that list, but really Bill Richardson, the New Mexico governor, the establishment politician, the globalist, the Bohemian Grove member, the former presidential candidate, the buddy of Bill Clinton. He's the one that I think had the biggest impact with those names coming out. So let's see. Again, we're taking all super chats and we're kind of scrolling through here, seeing what we got. You're okay that there was help killing him, but can't entertain the idea that he was switched out with the intent. I'm entertaining all ideas, Miss Beck. All ideas. I think it's more likely. Listen, what's more likely? Now, switching out, that's going to take a lot of involvement with getting somebody in and getting somebody out, and some kind of either trail where there's no cameras, or there's inside help to mask and disguise that. As far as someone killing him, just getting him into an area where there isn't any cameras, if it's a physical death, or slipping him some kind of poison after the fact, I'd say that's an easier road. And that's all speculation. I've also talked about the fact that he was in prison, real prison, for the first time. He's a 66-year-old man, used to privilege, used to doing what he wants. And the possibility that some cops let some boys have a go at him, and we're not just talking about a beating, you know what I'm saying? We're talking about possible sodomy too. Could he mentally handle that? I don't know. But we can't break out our jump to conclusions mats and just say we know whatever, we know everything. We don't. F this stream seriously. Impossible to get breaking news through to Jason. I can't afford to spend money on how detailed the breaking news is. I'm trying to go through this as quick as I can. I really do appreciate the super chats. I did read your one, but I didn't understand what it was said. Let's see. They don't fake deaths for witness protection program. You have to testify before you disappear. Breaking. Washpo says Epstein told authorities someone tried to kill him in a previous incident earlier. He was described as being in good spirits in recent days. Let's find that. See? Some of it's getting through, bro. Don't get so frustrated. Don't get so frustrated. I know we're all hyped up. So is this true? That's Manhattan Jail. Here we go. So yeah, here it is. People close to Epstein fear he was murdered as Epstein told authorities someone tried to kill him in a previous incident weeks earlier. He was described as being in good spirits in recent days. So there you go. You got it through, brother. It's not easy. We got 1,000 people watching. This is the biggest stream I've had. Information to come out that JFK death was a suicide as well. That's from Chuck Zlatkin. He's got jokes. But guys, if you want to talk about deep state, you want to talk about mafia involvement, you want to talk about JFK, I did a video breaking down JFK, probably like no other, made connections that other people have probably never even entertained, and it's called The Camelot Mystery, I believe. Let's see if we can find it. Again, guys, we're doing so many videos here, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 a day. You have to be subscribed. You actually have to hit that star in the corner and just come back to check out everything, because that's how much information is in these videos. But where are we? Let's find him. There it is right there. Is Warren C. DeBrew the key to solving the Camelot mystery? So if you want some really good JFK deep dives, that one's over an hour long and well worth your time. Guys, so now we have, again, the Washington Post saying that Epstein told authorities someone had tried to kill him weeks earlier. We're not saying it was suicide here. We're not saying it wasn't. Okay? We don't know. We're the man's body, he hasn't been dead for more than 6 or 7 hours. At least not announced dead. Who knows when this happened, but it certainly happened less than 24 hours after the unsealing of those documents involving Guthrie Roberts. And remember, guys, I can't reiterate this enough. There's a lot to go over. Oh, this is not where I want it to be. Sorry about that. Went to the wrong one. But yeah, prepubescent girls, pictures, censored out, just some really gross stuff. A lot of this had been in the public arena before, but Bill Richardson and other people being named, again, very powerful stuff. Ghislaine Maxwell needs to be in a prison. We need to push that now. That's the next push, is to make sure that criminal charges come out against her, that racketeering and conspiracy charges come out against everybody who is an associate of Epstein, and we actually bring this cabal to justice. So guys, with that being said, I'm going to bid you farewell. Remember, if you can support me, we're 2/3 of the way through the week. We're not quite 2/3 of the way to the goal. This is how I'm able to give you news 7 days a week from my little home in my little home office and tell you the truth, because a lot of people are going to spin this one way or another. It's all about Trump. It's all about Clinton. It's all about this. It's all about that. No, this is a multifaceted international intelligence network that really needs to be exposed. So if you can support me, I appreciate it. And with that being said, I will see all you guys on the flip side. Join the Burmese Brigade, thumb it up, share it, and sub. Later on, y'all. I'll definitely be all over this case throughout the day.